My name is Mark Lee. I am the Policy Chief in the Federal Acquisition Services Office of Acquisition Management. So just a little bit about my background, any policy-related issues to the Schedules program that falls under me. So I'm here to talk to you today about what I think a really important topic that's got a lot of policy change going on, is particularly around small business utilization. So I want to start off and give you a little bit of a sentiment about where we're at with the small business environment, because now is a really more important time than ever for us to achieve small business utilization in the federal procurement system. We know that we're facing roughly about an 8% unemployment rate in this country, and the government does have a policy to utilize small businesses to spur economic growth, and we do spend $530 billion through the acquisition system. So that's quite an amount of dollars that we can help grow our economy and grow small businesses. So within the Schedules program, I think we have one of the best programs in the federal government in terms of small business utilization. We have about 15,000 vendors that are small businesses, so that's about 80% of the vendors of the Schedules program are small businesses. Over $13 billion annually go to small businesses directly through the Schedules program, so that's about 35% of the dollars. So if you look at our government-wide goal, which is about 23% of dollars going to small businesses, that's 12% higher than the government goal. And then recently, actually in GSA in my office, we pulled some data on small business utilization, said how do agencies out there compare using the Schedules versus them achieving their overall small business goals. And generally, the agencies that use Schedules did a lot better in terms of achieving their small business utilization. So we looked at 24 of the CFO Act agencies out there, and we noticed that trend. So today, that's really a good plug to see that using Schedules can really help you meet your small business goals. Real quick about the training presentation today, we have a partnership going on with the Federal Acquisition Institute, also the Defense Acquisition University. So we're developing training around the Schedules program. This is part of the training. So we're videotaping the session today. That's actually part of a continuous learning module that we're hoping to post later this year to the Federal Acquisition Institute training application system. Real quickly, we kind of broke this down to three main topical areas, sort of the learning objectives for our session today. We're going to give you an overview of the socioeconomic programs, talk a little bit about that in the context of the Schedules program. We're going to talk about the importance of how to identify small businesses when you're doing your market research, when you're in your acquisition planning stage. And then we're going to talk about how you take that, translate that market research, that acquisition planning into a solid acquisition strategy, and how you can achieve small business utilization under the Schedules. So those are some of our main learning objectives for today. So let's dive into this and kind of give you an overview of socioeconomic programs and how does that relate to the GSA Multiple Award Schedules program. So one of the things that's unique about the Schedules program is if you look at the Federal Acquisition Regulation, Part 19 primarily sets out our small business policies in terms of government contracting. So we apply Part 19 at the contract level when we establish the GSA schedule contract. So we apply that. We do a set-aside analysis up front of whether we should set aside a piece of the schedule, which it's divided up in special item numbers or the entire schedule. And generally, we haven't applied any of the guidance in 19 at the order level. Recently this year, we enacted a law that passed in 2010. It's called the Small Business Jobs Act, and had a provision called Section 1331, and that led to an interim FAR case. And for those that don't know, that's the Federal Acquisition Regulation, and it was basically an immediate policy change that allowed discretionary authority for set-asides. And this was the first time this was enacted, and for those 1102s in the room, it actually happened on 1102 day. So but that's unique authority. It's completely discretionary on the part of the contracting officer, and we'll talk a little bit about that today, because that is a brand new authority that's given to us to achieve better small business utilization. So a little bit more about specifically, like I said, most parts of Part 19 do not apply to the Schedules program. Contract bundling requirements do apply, so that's one of the things that we bring into 19 into 8.4 in the Schedules, that you shouldn't be bundling contract actions. Big thing there, agencies do get credit towards their socioeconomic goals when they place task and delivery orders with small businesses. So it counts towards their goaling, towards their 23% requirements and all the subcategories of socioeconomic requirements. And then we do have some preferences in terms of making sure that we're taking a look and considering small businesses as well. So what's considered a small business? Generally, small businesses, the size standards are established industry by industry. So they generally are established by NAICS codes, or what we call North American Industrial Classification Systems. And so we have various NAICS codes on our schedules, and there may be multiple NAICS codes for what we call a special item number, which is really a subset category under the schedules. But generally what we do is when we make a contract award under the schedules program, we generally apply the NAICS code that is the predominance of the work that's going to be performed to that schedule. And generally that follows any task or delivery orders that are issued under the contract. When a customer agency places an order against the schedule, they follow the size standard generally that was placed with the contract award. Do want to say there are some nuances to that. So, generally we say ordering agencies should rely on the contract level certification, but there have been several GAO cases where and there is some support in SBA regulations that says you can ask for an order level certification. So if you're out there and you're doing business and you're responding to a request for quote and they ask you to recertify your size status at the order level, that is something that an ordering contracting officer can do, and GAO has upheld that. Lastly, to kind of identify what socioeconomic status various scheduled contract holders, we generally tell you to look at eLibrary, and you can search for socioeconomic status, whether they're women-owned, whether they're hub-zoned, whether they're service-disabled, veteran-owned small businesses. So we'll talk about that a little bit further and get a little bit more into the details on that. So like I said, in terms of credit, generally, agencies, when they place orders against the schedule, they receive the credit towards their prime small business goals. So that gets reported in terms of their annually reporting to GSA. There's a wealth of information on GSA Advantage, eLibrary, and that's really going to be some of the primary tools that we'll go through today to see how to identify what small businesses can achieve opportunities, and where can I see whether I can potentially use set-asides and some of the other tools available. So like I was talking about earlier before, we apply the requirements of FAR Part 19 at the contract level. So we do a set-aside analysis when we establish the schedules. And so in some cases, we've set aside an entire schedule. So one is our temporary administrative staffing schedule. We've 100% set aside that for small businesses. So we only have small businesses under that schedule. We also do that analysis for every special item number that we establish under the GSA schedule. So there's some special item numbers that are only available for small businesses on there. So we have approximately 150 set-aside SINs. And I do want to make a little plug for the link there below. One of the things we're doing with our training initiative and FAST is using Web 2.0 technology and social media to more timely give you information about policy changes happening in the schedules program. So we do have a blog article up there. We have our blog. It's on interact.gsa.gov, and it's the multiple award schedules group. And there's an article there that talks about our set-aside SINs. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, I'd say register for our blog. We're up to nearly 4,000 subscribers. We post things every week. Generally, even within a couple of days, we have something new up there. And we also do have training opportunities through webinars, so you can continue your learning past your time here at Expo. So I encourage you to take a look at that. So we do have all the categories of socioeconomics on the schedules program. So we have the veteran-owned, service-disabled veteran-owned, women-owned, economically disadvantaged women-owned. So there's various categories in those programs that have been established by the Small Business Administration. We have sub-zone as well, and service-disabled veteran-owned in 8As. I do want to point out something about the 8A program. A while ago, SBA did have a goal and goals for the 8A program. No longer do they have specific goals for the 8A program. So the 8A program certainly still exists. It is a program where the government contracts with the Small Business Administration, but the agencies out there don't have any specific goals, like a 5% requirement to do contracting with 8A. So any orders placed with 8A, it goes to their small disadvantaged business credit goaling. So I just want to clear that up because some people are a little confused on the goaling credit for 8As.